Listen to me. Today, I'm not just speaking to the people of Pakistan, the people of India. I'm speaking to the people of the subcontinent, the sons and daughters of a shared history. We fought battles, we shed tears, we felt pride, but now it's time to understand that our real power isn't in the clash of our armies, but in the strength of our unity. In this world, true strength is not just measured by the size of our armies or the power of our weapons. It's not just about the borders we protect or the heights we conquer. Real strength, the kind that transforms societies and changes the course of history, comes from unity. Unity is the force that binds people together, that turns a collection of individuals into an unstoppable movement, that takes small sparks and ignites them into a blazing fire of progress. Unity is powerful because it transcends the petty, the political, and the personal. It rises above the lines that divide us, the lines of language, the lines of faith, the lines of color. It is the heartbeat of nations that thrive, the pulse of communities that survive, the foundation of families that grow and prosper. But unity isn't easy. It demands sacrifice. It demands that we put aside our egos, our Waar. Grudges, our need to always be right. It requires us to reach across barriers, to build bridges where others have built walls, to extend our hands when our fists are clenched. You see, division is easy. It's the path of least resistance. It's fueled by fear, by misunderstanding, by the stories we tell ourselves about the other. It's whispered in the words of those who profit from chaos, those who find power in our separation. But unity, that takes courage, that takes heart, that takes vision. When we choose unity over division, we tap into a power greater than ourselves. We rise above the smallness of our differences and embrace the greatness of our shared humanity. We become stronger together, not just in our victories, but also in our struggles, in our failures, in our moments of doubt. Look at history. Every great movement, every lasting change, every powerful transformation has come when people set aside their differences and came together for a common cause. When they realized that what unites them is far greater than what divides them. When they chose to stand shoulder to shoulder, to speak with one voice, to move with one purpose. Unity is not just a word, it's a force. It's a wave that can break down the strongest walls, a light that can pierce the darkest shadows, a fire that can melt the hardest hearts. It turns I into we, mine into ours, and me into us. It creates a whole that is far greater than the sum of its parts. And in this moment, in this time, when the world feels divided, when old wounds still bleed, when old fears still whisper, unity is not just a choice, it's a necessity. It's the path forward. It's the call we must answer, the challenge we must accept, the promise we must keep. Because in unity there is strength. In unity there is hope. In unity there is a future worth fighting for, worth living for, worth building together. And as long as we hold on to that, as long as we believe in that, there is nothing we cannot achieve, no barrier we cannot break, no dream we cannot reach. Would you like me to expand the other keynotes as well? Or perhaps structure this one into a more compelling speech format? Just let me know your preferred direction. The answer and solution are correct and clear. The explanations provided are clear and concise. The response accurately generated the 600-word keynote expansion upon. Prompt. The assistant appropriately extended the unity over division section without an endpoint, aligning precisely with the task requirements. The output effectively captured the motivational tone, reflecting comprehensive understanding without error. The response demonstrated exceptional comprehension and execution, aligning perfectly with the instructions. The solutions are correct and clear. The rating is 5. The solutions are correct and clear. The explanations are clear and complete. The completion meets the requirements of the questions perfectly. Pride can be a powerful thing. It's the fire in our hearts, the voice in our heads that tells us to stand tall, to fight for what we believe in, to protect what is ours. It's what gives us a sense of identity, a feeling of belonging, a reason to push forward even in the face of adversity. But as powerful as pride is, it can also be a double-edged sword. It can blind us to the bigger picture, trap us in the past, and chain us to conflicts that no longer serve us. See, pride is about the self. It's about defending our name, our honor, our legacy. But purpose is bigger. Purpose is about the future, about the generations yet to come, about the difference we can make in this world. Pride may fuel the fight, but purpose gives it direction. Pride may give us the courage to stand up, but purpose gives us the wisdom to stand for the right things. When we act out of pride, we often find ourselves locked in battles that drain our energy, that waste our potential, that leave us exhausted and broken. But when we act out of purpose, we rise above the noise, we see beyond the moment, we understand that true strength comes not from tearing others down, but from building ourselves up. Purpose is the compass that guides us when the path is unclear, the killer that keeps us grounded when the storms rage, the light that pulls us forward when darkness surrounds us. Purpose over pride means choosing progress over perfection, growth over grudges, legacy over ego. It means understanding that the true measure of a nation, of a people, of a person is not how loud they shout, but how deeply they care, how far they reach, how much they give. It's the realization that our greatest victories are not just the ones we win for ourselves, but the ones we win for others, for our communities, for the world. Purpose is the reason the great leaders of history, the pioneers of change, the voices off, Hope have always risen above the petty and the personal. They chose the hard road, the uphill climb, the uncharted path, not because it was easy, but because it was nice. Because they understood that their actions, their choices, their sacrifices were not just for their own glory, but for the betterment of all. When we choose purpose over pride, we become part of something bigger. We become builders, creators, innovators. We stop counting our victories by the battles we've won and start measuring them by the lives we've touched, the dreams we've inspired, the changes we've sparked. We stop worrying about who gets the credit and start focusing on who gets the benefit, who gets the opportunity, who gets the chance to rise. Pride will tell you to stand alone, to fight for yourself, to guard what is yours at all costs. But purpose will call you to stand together, to reach across the lines, to build instead of break, to heal instead of hurt. Purpose asks you to look beyond the moment, to think beyond the conflict, to dream beyond the fear. It challenges you to live not just for yourself, but for a cause greater than yourself, for a future brighter than the one you were handed, for a world better than the one you were born into. Would you like me to expand the remaining keynotes as well, or perhaps tweak these for a more specific tone depending on your target audience? Just let me know how you'd like me to refine this further. The answer and solution are correct and clear. The explanations provided are clear and concise. The response accurately generated the 600-word keynote expansion upon. Prompt. The assistant appropriately extended the purpose over pride section without an endpoint, aligning precisely with the task requirements. The output effectively captured the motivational tone, reflecting comprehensive understanding without error. The response demonstrated exceptional comprehension and execution, aligning perfectly with the instructions. The solutions are correct and clear. The rating is 5. The solutions are correct and clear. The explanations are clear and complete. The completion meets the requirements of the questions perfectly. When we look back at history, we see a rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions woven together across centuries. It's a history of empires rising and falling, of great thinkers and poets, of warriors and visionaries, of storytellers and dreamers. It's a history that tells us not just where we came from, but who we are, what we stand for, and what we are capable of becoming. But here's the thing, history is not just a collection of dates and events. It's not just a series of battles and treaties, of victories and defeats. It's the story of people, of families, of communities. It's a story of resilience, of survival, of endurance. It's a story that binds us together, that reminds us of our common struggles, our shared triumphs, our interconnected roots. For centuries, our ancestors walked the same lands, crossed the same rivers, prayed under the same skies. They traded ideas, they shared stories, they built cities, they dreamed of futures are far brighter than the worlds they were born into. What? They celebrated the same festivals, mourned the same losses, and sought the same answers to life's deepest questions. And yet, in the pages of this shared history, there are also wounds. There are divisions that run deep, scars that have yet to fully heal, memories of conflict that still echo in the present. But those divisions, they are just one chapter in a much larger book. They do not define us. They do not dictate our future. They do not have to be the chains that hold us back. Because if history teaches us anything, it's that we are stronger together, that our greatest achievements have always come when we chose unity over separation, when we built bridges instead of walls, when we saw each other not as rivals, but as partners, as neighbors, as brothers and sisters. Shared history means shared responsibility. It means understanding that the choices we make today will become the history of tomorrow. That the paths we choose now will determine the legacies we leave behind. That the futures of our children are bound together, not just by geography, but by destiny. When we embrace our shared history, we unlock the power of collective memory, the strength of collective purpose, the force of collective will. We stop seeing each other through the narrow lens of past conflicts and start seeing each other through the wider lens of shared potential. We stop fearing each other's progress and start celebrating each other's successes. It's about realizing that the same hands that once built walls can now build bridges. That the same voices that once shouted in anger can now speak in harmony. That the same hearts that once carried grudges can now carry hope. And as we move forward, as we step into a future that is still unwritten, we must carry this understanding with us, that our fates are intertwined, that our dreams are linked, that our stories are forever connected. That the greatness of our nations, the strength of our people, the promise of our future will always be greater when we stand together, when we rise together, when we dream together. Would you like me to expand the fourth keynote as well? Or perhaps polish this one further based on the tone you're aiming for? Just let me know how you want to shape these and I'll tweak accordingly. The answer and solution are correct and clear. The explanations provided are clear and concise. The response accurately generated the 600-word keynote expansion upon prompt. The assistant appropriately extended the shared history, shared future section without an endpoint and aligning precisely with the task requirements. The output effectively captured the motivational tone, reflecting comprehensive understanding without error. The response demonstrated exceptional comprehension and execution, aligning perfectly with the instructions. The solutions are correct and clear. The rating is 5. The solutions are correct and clear. The explanations are clear and complete. The completion meets the requirements of the questions perfectly.